Right. I hope you guys are fine, doing well. My student, Miss Urva, has given me a small query about what are the procedure, how do we use them. So I decided to give you a practical example first. In VB, we write sub for the procedure and we give it a name sum. Or what if you are making a program to swap the numbers? You can say swap. And then I'll say swap, and there should be two things here: x as integer, comma y as integer. What are we going to do in that? We'll decide that later. Let me, write down the code here in the main program. In the main program, I'm using a different variable a comma b, or we can use global variable also so that we don't need to change them, or just go ahead like that. A There's a variable a comma b as integer. Both are integer variables. The value of a is 5. The value of b is 6. And then what if I want to print the number? Console.write line. I say print the value of a, print the value of b, and then this should say before swapping. And then over here I want to call the procedure. So for that, we write call, and then I should say swap. And inside that, I have to tell the computer that I want to swap what? I want to swap A and B. This was supposed to be B. So I want to send this data from here to this procedure A. The value of A, I'm calling it call. This is how you can use a procedure. So you're calling it, that means you're going there, and it would carry two data with it. It would carry the value of A and value of B in the sequence, in the same sequence. So A is 5. That means 5 is going to take transfer in X, and B was 6. So 6 is going to take place in Y. So you're sending two variables from here. So there should be two variables on the top here in the procedure. So it has to be balanced. These are called parameter, and this whole line is called header of the procedure. Now, values must be the same values. 5 must have been transferred in X, 6 must have been transferred in Y. And now what? Now I want to swap the numbers. So I say t is equals to, t is a new variable I wanted as integer. And then I say t is equals to X, X is equal to Y, and then Y is equals to t. And then I want to print the data after swapping. After swapping, print X and print Y. So the value of A, that was 5, here must have been changed to 6. And Y must have been changed to 5. Let's run and check. We need to give it a break, also stop it, so that we can see the result. So before swapping, it was 5 and 6. And after swapping, the data has been changed to 6 and 5. Swapping done. Swapping done. Now, how to convert this in pseudocode? That is important for you. And then we'll give you overview in a proper drawing format so that you can understand that, grasp that easily. How to write a pseudocode for this? You don't need this line. You don't need this line either. This was supposed to be procedure, and this was supposed to be end procedure. This will be X and Y, both are integers, so you don't need to write integer in integer again. You can just write them once, X colon V, Y integer. Them has to be replaced with declare T colon integer. The word integer can be capitalized. Or it doesn't matter how you write it, but fine. Initialization is done using arrow. Sorry, assignment is done using an arrow. We never write console.write line. We can always write output. Brackets are not needed. output X. And then you can say you want to print Y also. So you can write comma Y, output Y. And then these two lines not needed. Sub again a procedure. Declare A comma B colon. You can say integer. A and then B. And then we can say output for swapping. Right, output. हमने this A comma B directly can be written like that. This line is important to call one, calling what? Calling the swap. And end sub is to be replaced with end procedure. This is how you can write down the procedure. Now I'll make the drawing for you, what is happening, so that you would understand that easily, more easily. They will say at this line, this your program would start from here. Start from here. Start from here. Let's put it small and make it slightly bigger in size. When you run your program, it would begin from this point. You know what this line will do. You know what this line will do. You know what this line will do. You know the purpose of this line. You know the purpose of this line. There you see a new thing. You are confused only at this line. What is it? Call swap. That means you're calling the swap procedure. Swap is the name of the procedure. So you specify the name of the procedure. We did that. With that, we are writing A comma B. These are the two data you are supplying. So A, let me remind you, was equivalent to 5 and B was equivalent to 6. So we are sending A and B, that way would carry these two data. And would put them into the same sequence. 5 would come in X, 6 would come in Y. This would come here, this would come here. And then you know what this line is, you know what this line will do, you know what this line will do, you know the purpose of this line. And then we're giving heading, you know the purpose of this line. Do you understand now?
Yes.
Okay. So whenever examiner would ask you that how do you write a procedure, they can always specify this type of thing. And when you say how do you call a procedure, yeah, how do you use a procedure? That's called use of procedure. Use of procedure. How do you use it? We write call command for that. We write down the keyword call. This is the use of the procedure. And what is that? You do that one, and the examiner would say write a procedure. Write a procedure. This first line is called what? This line is called what? This green line is called what? This green line is called procedure header. Right, my dear. So I have highlighted everything in it. You shouldn't have any difficulty now. It's a masterpiece for you. And let me send it to you. There you go. Right. So keep practicing. This was the end of the question you raised. You can go back to the question and check what you said there. Come back here and look at your question that you raised. You were confused with this one. Write the pseudocode to use a procedure named average that passes the value of 25 and 50 to the procedure. How would you do that? You can do this. Call average 25 comma 50 directly also. This can also be done. You can directly pass on data. If I don't want to use A and B, you can remove these lines. And you can directly tell the computer swap these numbers, 5 and 7. That's what examiner is asking you. Remove these lines. Before swapping is what? Before swapping is 5 and 7. You can write that there directly. See, got it? So
Yes, sir.
that means 5 will go in X and 7 will go in Y. So that's what the examiner is asking, how to use this. So you're writing call, and with the call you can write average 25 comma 50 all in one line like this. And you can explain also. Call is a word to call a procedure. Average is the name of the procedure. 25 and 50 is called what? 25 and 50 is called parameters. And these are which parameters? Integer parameters, right? So let me explain this also. When you're writing call average, bracket open, 50 comma 60. So what is it? Call is what? Average is what? And these two things are what? Call is the keyword to be used to run a procedure. Average is what? Average is the name of the procedure to be called. Fifty and 60 is what? 50 and
Parameters.
60 are the parameters. Okay. So you can always write this. So this way you can get 3 marks when you define all this. And that's what examiner is doing there. Right, my dear, that's the end of the class. Target achieved in right in time, completed all your queries with proper explanation. Done?
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Now first.
Yes.